Hi, my name is Lu. I'm a portfolio manager at T. Rowe Price in Asia, and I manage our new Asia strategy. Today, I just want to spend a few minutes talking to you about why investors should look at investing in the Asia ex-Japan region, and also a few minutes on our team here in Asia, and lastly, on our Asia strategy itself. Firstly, why should investors look at investing in Asia ex-Japan region? Most importantly, we feel that Asia ex-Japan region has some of the fastest growing and also well-managed businesses in the world. And let's not forget that India and China are two rising superpowers. And we find that there are many investment opportunities in these two countries in particular. Really, this growth in Asia is driven by the industrialization and urbanization of these economies. And as you know, with rising industrialization and urbanization, you will see rising income levels and also, therefore, rising consumption levels. So therefore, you will see that our strategy will have a strong bias towards domestic consumption-oriented types of businesses. Secondly, we also feel that fixed asset investment growth is still a very important part of the economies here in Asia, especially in the more emerging economies such as India. So again, when we find good businesses that are led by fixed asset investment growth, we will have investments in this area, and you'll find that our bias will be towards economies such as India, where infrastructure development is still very much in an earlier stage. And lastly, that's not to say that we completely ignore the export and manufacturing sectors here in Asia. As you know, Asia is really the world's factory, and we find that there are some of the world's most competitive manufacturing businesses here. So we do invest in this area, but we tend to look for companies that we think are really gaining global market share. And last but not least, Asia stock markets are actually very dynamic, both in the primary and secondary markets. And if you look at global indices, we feel that Asia ex-Japan region is very much currently underrepresented in these indices. And we believe that over the long term, they will rise significantly in the global indices. And that will be a very good long-term driver for the markets. Our team here in Asia is structured in such a way that I think gives us true local expertise, but be able to also see industries and businesses in a global context. And I'll explain what I mean by that. We have 11 analysts here on the ground in Singapore and Hong Kong who are all sector expertise in themselves. And these analysts are actually from varying degrees of experience, from different cultural backgrounds, and different industry expertise and financial expertise. And the analysts also work in the context of their global peers. So at T. Rowe Price, each of the sector teams are actually organized under global groups with a global sector head, so that each analyst is able to work very closely with his or her peers who cover the same businesses, let's say in Europe or in the US, so that they can really compare how the industries evolve and really compare the different drivers and benchmarks for each of their industries, and be able to make their financial and valuation analysis on that basis, of course, only when it's relevant. And as we know, certain sectors are much more relevant on a global basis than others. And we leave it to the analysts to really decide whether or not it makes sense for them to compare things on a global basis. We also have a head of research here based in Singapore, whose job is to really help the analysts prioritize their research, where they spend their time, their resources, and also help mentor the analysts in terms of how they go about doing their research, and also how they communicate their ideas to the PMs here at T. Rowe Price. Of course, there's myself, who's a portfolio manager here based in Hong Kong, but we also have portfolio managers based around the world who invest in Asia and who work very closely with the analysts to really, again, take advantage of the ideas that they can give to the PMs, but also the PMs are act as thought leaders to the research platform. So therefore, I would say that one of our competitive advantage in this strategy is really having that local expertise, but be able to work very much with our global peers to have that global context.